Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you updates and hidden narratives surrounding Catherine, Princess of Wales, and the royal family. Today, we have some exciting news to share. Breaking: King Charles makes a final move as Meghan Markle faces backlash over a Lilibet video. In a development that has sent shockwaves through the royal family, Meghan Markle has released a video featuring her daughter, Lilibet, for public viewing. The footage appears to serve as a direct promotional pitch for her new lifestyle brand. However, according to insiders familiar with the situation, beneath the polished smiles and the sunlit California backdrop, something far more troubling can be heard. One particular detail has ignited intense criticism and accusations of exploitation: the unmistakable sound of a young child crying. The debate is no longer about whether the Sussexes have crossed a line, but whether they have burned the final bridge connecting them to the monarchy. This situation has escalated following a stern warning reportedly issued by an angered King Charles from Buckingham Palace, alongside what is being described as a public and embarrassing breach of agreement involving a major Hollywood executive. Together, these developments have pushed the situation into crisis. The video itself appears simple on the surface, a brief, carefully curated moment of family life designed for social media. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is seen interacting with her children, Archie and Lilibet, asking gently, "Are you having fun, my love?" The scene is bathed in the warm golden light of Montecito, portraying a carefully constructed image of maternal joy. Yet, for those listening closely, the audio tells a different story. Beneath Meghan's laughter, a faint but persistent sound emerges, the cry of a distressed child. This single, unsettling detail has become the center of controversy, threatening to shape how the Sussexes' legacy is remembered. What may seem like a public relations misstep is being viewed by some as something far more serious: a troubling breach of a long-standing, almost sacred royal principle. According to Buckingham Palace traditions, royal children, especially those in the line of succession, are not treated as ordinary private individuals. In a constitutional sense, they are closely tied to the crown, and their public image is carefully protected due to historical precedent. For generations, an unspoken rule has existed: royal children should be shielded from commercial influence. Their public appearances are tightly controlled, typically limited to official portraits or carefully staged family moments. This balance is meant to satisfy public interest while preserving their privacy and maintaining the monarchy's dignity. However, when a grandchild of the king, reportedly seventh in line to the throne, is perceived to be used in promoting a commercial venture, particularly a lifestyle brand selling high-priced goods, it is seen within the Arabic Khalif, Arabic clan, Arabic memes, a wow, Arabic scene, Arabic Tetmer Buddha as a serious violation. Insiders suggest that King Charles reacted with profound anger, especially as he faces ongoing personal health challenges and the responsibilities of leading the Commonwealth. Reports indicate that a strong message has been sent across the Atlantic, a clear directive for Prince Harry and Meghan to cease using their children's images for financial gain. According to sources close to palace operations, this was not a gentle request, but rather a firm command from the sovereign, with the implication of escalating consequences if ignored. The king's anger, it seems, goes beyond concern for reputation. It reflects something deeper than simply witnessing a perceived erosion of royal value. Instead, it reflects the anger of a grandfather witnessing his grandchildren being drawn into the same kind of intense media storm he believes played a role in the tragic fate of his first wife, Diana, Princess of Wales. The situation carries significant legal and ethical implications as well. Beyond royal protocol, strict regulations govern the entertainment industry in California, where the Sussexes reside. Among these is the Coogan Act, a law designed to prevent the exploitation of child performers by ensuring a portion of their earnings is placed into protected trusts and that their working conditions are carefully regulated. These safeguards are meant to ensure that children involved in media are treated fairly and responsibly. Royal commentator Lady Colin Campbell. a long-time and often outspoken observer of the Windsor family, has highlighted the potentially sensitive legal ground Meghan may be stepping into. She pointed out that the situation could violate multiple layers of rules and guidelines, not only those set by the Lord Chamberlain regarding the commercial use of royal connections, but also existing labor laws. She suggested that while there may be an attempt to present the children as not being directly monetized, the reality could be quite different. The question arises, are the children being compensated for their involvement? The core of the criticism lies in the perception that they may be functioning as unpaid contributors to the growth of a commercial brand. Although terms like exploitation may be debated, the concern stems from the idea that the children are being used in a way that benefits a broader business venture without clear safeguards. The video itself, to some viewers, conveys an unsettling, emotional tone. It portrays a figure under considerable pressure, potentially turning to her children as both a protective shield and a promotional asset at the same time. With her high-profile media deals reportedly losing momentum and public approval appearing to decline, some analysts interpret this move as a sign of mounting pressure. Public relations experts have long cautioned against using children as a strategy to deflect negative attention, warning that it often backfires. In this case, critics argue that the carefully staged visuals combined with the audible distress of a child create a sense of artificiality and emotional distance rather than genuine warmth. Instead of reinforcing an image of a present and engaged parent, it may produce the opposite effect. There is also a growing perception that the couple's strongest remaining connection to public and commercial appeal lies in their children, who symbolize their link to the British monarchy. This has led to speculation that other avenues for relevance and income may be narrowing, leaving this as one of their few marketable assets. Online reactions have echoed this sentiment, with some critics suggesting that moments like these are being used strategically during times of negative publicity. While such commentary reflects public opinion, it also highlights the increasing scrutiny surrounding their actions. At the same time, this development coincides with broader challenges in their professional ventures. Their once celebrated deal with Netflix, initially seen as a gateway to global influence and financial independence, has reportedly faced significant setbacks. A notable moment that drew attention was when Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos unfollowed Meghan Markle on Instagram. Rather than a formal announcement, this quiet digital gesture was widely interpreted as a strong signal within the entertainment industry. In the interconnected worlds of Hollywood and tech, such actions are often seen as symbolic, yet meaningful, comparable to a subtle but deliberate withdrawal of support. It carries a sense of public distance, executed in a highly visible yet understated way. For years, Meghan had cultivated an image of close ties with the Sarandos family, which helped reinforce her perceived influence within the streaming industry. This relationship had contributed to an aura of strong positioning within the Netflix ecosystem, making this apparent shift all the more significant. She was even seen attending Beyoncé concerts alongside Ted's wife, further reinforcing the impression of a close personal bond. However, it has since become clear that this perception may not have reflected reality. According to sources, the Instagram unfollow was not an isolated act, but part of a broader pattern, with several key Netflix executives, many of whom had previously collaborated with the Sussexes, taking similar steps. One industry insider described the situation bluntly, suggesting they had effectively been phased out. The breakdown of the partnership did not happen overnight in a dramatic fashion. Instead, it unfolded gradually, driven by growing disappointment over time. Individuals familiar with internal discussions at Netflix have indicated that the collaboration faced difficulties from the outset. Their documentary series, Harry and Meghan, stood as their only major success, largely because it tapped into public curiosity surrounding royal controversies. While it attracted significant viewership, it also further strained their remaining ties with the royal family. After that, however, momentum stalled. Despite early expectations and announcements of upcoming projects, little materialized. The flow of content slowed to a halt, leaving the partnership without the steady output that had been anticipated. Their lifestyle venture, American Riviera Orchard, was seen by some insiders as drifting away from the original vision, becoming more associated with niche products than with high-impact media production. Netflix had initially invested in the Sussexes as a creative powerhouse, a duo expected to deliver compelling, must-watch programming. Instead, the brand appeared to pivot toward lifestyle goods rather than major film or television projects, falling short of those expectations. No. Several reports suggest that a critical misstep on Meghan's part was a misunderstanding of professional norms within the industry. Following the mutual decision to end the partnership, it is alleged that her team began sharing negative narratives about Netflix, portraying the company as ineffective or restrictive. This move was widely viewed as a breach of unspoken industry etiquette surrounding professional separation. As noted by royal commentator Lady Colin Campbell, publicly criticizing a former partner, especially after an agreed conclusion, was seen as a serious error. From Netflix's perspective, such actions were difficult to justify and risk damaging trust. There also appeared to be an assumption that personal connections or royal status might shield against the consequences of such decisions. However, this proved not to be the case. The fallout sent a strong message throughout the entertainment industry. Many insiders now reportedly view the Sussex brand as difficult to work with. Concerns have been raised about reliability, delivery on commitments, and a tendency to publicly criticize partners when outcomes are unfavorable. Business suggests that securing another deal on the scale of their Netflix agreement may now be extremely challenging. The core issue lies in the erosion of their most distinctive advantage, their royal association. By leveraging it in ways that some perceive as confrontational and failing to consistently deliver strong results, they may have weakened the very quality that once set them apart. As a result, they are no longer widely seen as influential royal figures operating within Hollywood, but rather as public personalities facing declining credibility and a track record of unmet expectations. While these corporate tensions continue to unfold in California, a parallel response is taking shape in London. Within the monarchy, resistance is strengthening, led by its central figures, King Charles III and his heir, Prince William. For both, this latest controversy has not only provoked frustration, but also reinforced long-held concerns about the direction Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have chosen to pursue. Now, for the monarchy, the situation is not just about appearances. It is about responsibility, survival, and preserving an institution that has endured for nearly 1,000 years. King Charles III has long envisioned a more streamlined, dignified monarchy rooted in duty. Throughout his life, he has worked toward shaping a reign that prioritizes service over celebrity. The Sussexes' continued involvement in commercial ventures, along with the use of their royal titles in financial dealings, stands in direct opposition to that vision. It challenges the very principle that the crown represents a public trust, not a personal brand to be leveraged. This concern echoes a historic fear within the monarchy, one tied to the memory of Edward VIII and the crisis surrounding his abdication. While the circumstances differ, the underlying anxiety remains similar. That personal interest could overshadow duty to the institution. From King Charles's perspective, the Montecito-based operation has begun to resemble a global enterprise that risks undermining the core values the monarchy is meant to uphold. His reported demand that the Sussexes stop involving their children in commercial contexts signals a firm and unmistakable boundary. Meanwhile, Prince William has taken an even more defined stance. Within palace circles, he is increasingly seen as the key protector of the monarchy's long-term future. Having witnessed firsthand the media turmoil surrounding his parents during the 1990s, he has deliberately built his public life around discipline, control, and a strong commitment to safeguarding his family's privacy. To him, his brother's actions are not only deeply personal, but also pose a broader institutional risk. one that could affect the stability of the monarchy he is expected to lead. According to investigative author Tom Bauer, whose book Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors has stirred controversy, Prince William represents the primary barrier to any potential reconciliation. Bauer suggests that this distance is not driven by emotion alone, but by careful strategy. Any public interaction between William and the Sussexes could be interpreted as an endorsement of their current venture. Even a simple photograph with either the King or the Prince of Wales could restore a level of royal legitimacy, something that could then be leveraged in future business dealings. Such a possibility is something Prince William is unlikely to accept. As heir to the throne, he appears focused on the long-term preservation of the monarchy, particularly for the next generation, including Prince George of Wales. Where the two brothers were once closely bonded, they now embody two fundamentally different visions of royal life in the modern era, one centered on duty, the other on enterprise. These perspectives have become increasingly difficult to reconcile, with their relationships in Hollywood reportedly weakening and access to Buckingham Palace more restricted. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle appear to be navigating an increasingly challenging landscape. Their strategy, balancing commercial pursuits tied to their royal identity while simultaneously criticizing the institution, has faced growing resistance. Media coverage, once mixed between support and criticism, has shifted more decisively. Major industry publications such as Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, which had previously shown interest in their projects, have recently published more critical analyses of their professional trajectory, highlighting ongoing challenges and setbacks. Meghan had previously shown strong interest in both Variety and The Hollywood Reporter. However, even media outlets that once positioned the couple as victims are now finding it increasingly difficult to defend actions that critics argue reflect privilege and possible exploitation. At this stage, public sentiment appears to be shifting toward fatigue.